I want to play for you. This is from the day of the shooting. It's a quick recording, but it's the dispatch recording. And as you listen to it, listen to the intensity of this situation. This is a courthouse shooting. Let's listen.
3670 Green House, Fletcher County Courthouse. That shot's fired on the second floor.
And there's the courthouse. You can see it. And covering this story, investigating this story, it always comes back and really starts in one place. And it's the question that everyone has. Everyone in Letcher County and around the country. And it's my first question of this investigation. Why? Why would the sheriff shoot the judge? And I think about that question, and I know there's one person who absolutely knows the answer, and that's the sheriff. But we haven't heard from the sheriff. So joining me to help try to pick apart this issue, this extremely important issue, is forensic psychiatrist, trial expert, witness, and columnist, Dr. Carol Lieberman. Okay, I want to take this up one piece at a time, okay? One piece at a time. Let's first talk about, this is a man of the law, right? So at the moment he does this, right? That's what he's accused of doing. At the moment he does this, he has to realize all of the repercussions of this, right?
Yes.
Professionally, legally, freedom, his family, all of it.
So it has to be for something that is of ultimate importance for him to basically give his life away for it. I mean, it can't be something, some argument, some sort of trivial argument, or something that, I mean, it has to be very personal. It's not even something that's, I mean, you know, there's the question of this, the fact he had been deposed for a case. Sabrina Atkins was suing him and this other deputy for raping her and her friend, well, the other inmate. And, you know, so you could, one thing you would, of course, think of is, could it have something to do with, did something come up at the deposition that related to the judge? I mean, the interesting thing is that the rape was in the judge's courtroom. I mean, in the chambers.
Office, in the chambers. There's another place. Absolutely. Let me ask you about this. This is very specific. No one heard yelling, right? You might not hear the conversation with the door closed, but if there's like screaming, you might hear it. He sees something on the judge's phone. The judge voluntarily gives him his phone. He looks at that phone, and he's got a second phone in the other hand. Something on that phone seems to be what put the sheriff over the top in that moment.
You know, this is a little bit like a game of telephone, because all we have to go on is, I mean, you know, there's sort of innuendos, there are rumors. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on social media. You know, and for example, I heard that they exchanged phones. But here's what I think, you know, again, basing it on sort of a conglomerate of what people are, rumor mill, basically. But in any case, supposedly at the lunch that they had together, the sheriff got a phone call, or it could have been a text, so, you know, which would explain what he was showing him on his phone, perhaps. And it got him very upset. And he took his meal to go. It's not like, you know, it's not like they were sitting and chatting in a friendly kind of way for a long time over lunch. So he got his, again, basing it on putting stories together. So he got up, he took his food, and he left. And then, okay, so then he came into the sheriff's chambers, the judge's chambers, and I mean, but there are stories about how it might have to do with that he had the impression, and perhaps that had to do with a text that he got, and then he saw something on the judge's phone that confirmed it in some way, that it had to do with his the judge sexually assaulting or abusing or having a relationship with the sheriff's daughter. Now, that would be something that could, inflame him between the lunch text and being in the chamber.
At the same time, and these rumors have been flying around, at the same time, there is a member of the family who is saying that that rumor is not true, and of Sheriff Stines' family. So, but it's got to be connected to that text message. Sheriff Mickey Stines was also elected by those people. But now things have changed, right? A man who was elected to enforce the law is now on the other side, accused of murder, which brings me to my next question. Is anyone supporting the sheriff? Are people rallying behind the sheriff? What exactly is going on? Still with me. Your thoughts here about the support for a man who's accused of a horrific, horrific crime?
I think there were a lot of people who are a lot of people who really appreciated him. I mean, he worked as the sheriff for quite a while, and he helped people. I mean, there was one woman talking about how whenever he saw her, he would give her a hug and ask her if there was anything he could do for her. I mean, it seems like there were positive feelings towards him from a lot of people who were asked. So, you know, when you think about a couple of other things that are interesting is the idea that when he came to the deposition, he was sort of non-responsive and depressed. Now, of course, nobody likes to be sued, but depositions can be very harsh and challenging. But still, and put that together with the fact that he supposedly hasn't talked to his family since he got arrested. So there's still water is run deep. I mean, I think there's something more there, that he's either ashamed of or that he's feels bad about. I mean, it's just strange the fact, if it was having to do with his daughter, I don't know that he wouldn't talk to his family. I think he would want to talk to his family and explain that that's why he did it. So also, what would be on the judge's phone would be some kind of possibly, some potential thing that would have triggered him, would be some kind of communication either with the daughter or with somebody about the daughter. Again, if the daughter has anything to do with it. But I don't think it would be something more impersonal like the court case, as much as he probably was very depressed and upset about that.
Yeah, and I think once information comes out about the why of it, I think that will certainly impact the level of support or non-support for the sheriff. And I think that has that'll play a big role in all of this, Dr. Carol Lieberman. We have about 30 seconds here.
Well, I think the sooner that this information comes out, the better, because rather than everybody, in that small town having a rumor fest, I don't think that helps anybody. I think that it's of course it's tragic, and it's what people are going to want to think about, or once they do find out what the deal was, they're going to want to think, was this something that would make somebody have a what do you call it when it's an emergency, an emotional reason why what am I trying to think of when it's an emotional reason? I think the word is written in the statute, like an extreme emotional disturbance, and that's in the statute itself. Dr. Carol Lieberman, we are out of time for now. Instead of murder. Yeah, exactly. Manslaughter. We're out of time for now. Thank you so much.